1:50 p.m. Pacific time, Friday, October 28th. You hear it here first. The Dallas Cowboys will lose to the Chicago Bears.
Is Justin Fields playing?
Yes, Justin Fields is playing.
Said it.
I said it.
Put that out.
I was thinking about this literally all morning. I give way too much time, energy, and effort to this show, but it's here for you all, so I was thinking about it. If a team were to run for 243 yards the week before they played us, my defensive coordinator, my head coach, linebackers, defensive line, we would all be to some degree concerned. Who in God's name just ran for 243 yards? If they did it in the NFL, we would be higher degree of concern. Who in the heck in the NFL just ran for 243 yards? Then we would ask ourselves this: who they do it against? If they did it against somebody, sorry. Oh, they did it against Bill Belichick?
Now.
Did I say Bill Belichick was the greatest defensive mind in the history of the sport?
That's what they said.
I'm going to wait for Joy to finish this water. I'm going to wait for Joy to finish. Did I say Bill?
Take your time, Joe. Take your time.
So, if you did it against the greatest defensive mind in the history that the game's ever seen, now I'm really paying attention. Shady McCoy, you know rushing for 243 yards in a game is difficult. I don't know if you ever did it by yourself, but you were definitely a part of some teams that did it, but you know it's difficult. If a team is capable of running for 243 yards in a game, and a team is capable of having the sixth best defense in the league, they are capable of beating anyone. Now, I know the Bears are also capable of losing to anyone, but the Bears' last three losses have all been by one possession. So I think the Dallas Cowboys are in a bad style matchup on Sunday. I think the Chicago Bears get the W. Dave Helman, should the Cowboys be on upset alert?
I hate the way you phrased this. Like, what is this? Are we, is the Red River rivalry on the horizon? Like, is this Texas looking past Colorado? Or, is it, Tennessee's got a game against Kentucky before they play Georgia? This is the NFL. I hate the idea of being on upset alert in the most parity-driven league where there's only three good teams and all these guys make millions of dollars. Like, shame on the Cowboys and anybody else if you're writing a team off. So they don't need to be on alert. Do I think the Bears can beat them? No, I don't think that. And I think it's also funny the way you brought that up. I don't know if the Cowboys did it because of the Bears running for 243. I tend to doubt it. Their run defense has been meh all year. They went and traded for Jonathan Hankins this week. They were like, we got to get better against the run. We're going to go get a 350-pound nose tackle who's going to clog this thing up and let our linebackers make plays a little more easily. So I think the Cowboys can defend the run well enough to make the Bears one-dimensional, because guess what? It's not that hard to do. Oh, and by the way, the Chicago Bears have injuries on an already bad offensive line. Like, they're shuffling things with their offensive line right now against the best pass rush in the league. No, I get where you're trying to go with this, but I think
with me?
The Cowboys are well equipped to play this style of football. Again, this is what they do. Like, we get all distracted by the quarterback thing. They run the ball well. They rush the passer and force the other offense to make mistakes. The Bears love giving up sacks, and they love making mistakes on offense. I'm not going to let one good game against the Patriots change my mind about that. But if the Cowboys aren't focused on this, then shame on them. Like, again, this is the NFL. I hate the idea of being like, we don't need to worry about this. That's crazy.
We'll revisit that. Joy, where are you at on this? Should the Cowboys be on upset alert?
Well, no, I agree with Dave. This is the NFL. I know Chicago Bears fans are very excited about that win last week, as they should be, as I would be if I was a Chicago Bears fan. And Shady will tell you, I'm the highest set of everyone on this set and probably in the media on Justin Fields. I'm rooting for him. I think he has potential. I don't know if it's going to be in Chicago. But they haven't looked good this year, and I'm not going to overreact to them beating the greatest defensive mind in all of football, in the history of football, with a third-string rookie quarterback. Dak Prescott is not a third-string rookie quarterback. This is the best defense in football. It's the most explosive defense in football. It's the most disruptive defense in football. And Justin Fields has been struggling, and to Dave's point, they're one-dimensional. So my question really for you guys is, and Dave already brought this up, I can't go upset alert because this is not college. You can, to me, as a competitor, I think if you overlook your competition, you don't really care too much about what you do. You should always, at the very least, respect your competitor. Anything can happen in a competition. You can trip, and someone who's slower than you wins the race. You can mess up and throw an interception at the end of the game, and the team that was way worse than you's lost every game beats you. In the NFL, it's all professionals. Everyone's being paid a lot of money to be there. Everyone that's coaching you is being paid a lot of money to be there, has a lot of experience. There's no accidents in the league. So to overlook the Chicago Bears, that's on Dallas. So I'm not going to say upset alert. I could even go so far as to say I think Chicago will cover. I don't think this is going to be a high-scoring game.
Big spread.
But Dallas should win this game, and I think they will. But I'll ask you two, because you played in the league. I don't know, college and high school. Like, there's big disparities in talent and coaching in those spaces, but not in the NFL. Do you go into a weekend like this with Chicago, who's coming off a big win, but when you really break it down,
I know your answer.
it's not. Do you overlook a team like this, Chicago?
And they got a bye next week?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I know your answer and I know mine.
Listen. First of all, Chicago, I think every team they play is going to be underdogs. They're going to be underdogs to everybody, right? Most teams. Like, 30 teams. Anyway, so you're already planning your trip. All right, we're going to beat these boys. We're going to get the whole week off. I'm in Miami. You know what I mean? I'm in L.A. So to answer your question, yes.
But
What's
here's
crazy?
the thing, though.
Real quick, though, Dave, because now I got to chime in with the real. It's funny, right? Like, we talk about the NFL. It's not college. It's still the same humans. Right?
It's a little different, though.
It is a little different.
Okay.
But it's the same humans. For the longest time, I thought, like, parents had superpowers, right? Like, oh, they're a parent. They got to be all knowing. Oh, no, they're just adults with kids. That's it. Adults with kids. So it's like being in the NFL is still shady. Now, instead of a Pitt jersey, it's an Eagles jersey. So what's funny is, like, there were some teams and some players that it's just like, man, the Bears about to beat us in Dallas, and we got a bye next week?
I mean, but the say like an upset alert, that's college-y. Like,
Yes, that figure of speech is college.
First of all,
Not only that. Oh, no, go ahead.
no, I'm saying Justin Fields is the quarterback. Let's just stop this, right? Last week,
He played well last week.
he did some great quarterback sweeps on 38, 39, which the best defensive coach we've ever seen couldn't stop. Dallas can stop that, right? Stop their run and make him throw the ball. Now, let me give you another stat. They get at the quarterback better than anybody else in the NFL.
Sure.
We agree on defense?
Of course.
Justin Fields gets sacked the most out of every quarterback in the league. So it adds up. Stop the run and make him throw the ball. This shouldn't be a conversation. This should be an easy win. All the bettors and gamblers, can I say this? Take Dallas. Take it with 9 points, take it with 10 points. If Justin Fields is under center, take all of it.
Well, do you want them to take him for 9 or for 10?
I'm just saying,
Right at 9.5.
Listen. I'm just saying like this. Whatever the point spread is, and Justin Fields is your quarterback, take him.
I hope the Cowboys have a better memory than that, because this came up just last year. They were on a roll. Remember, it was like before we realized that they kind of tapered off in the second half. They had their bye week. They come out. They win a game at Minnesota with Cooper Rush. It was the first time we really heard about him. They're just unbeatable. They're so special. They played a pretty sorry Denver team that didn't have Russell Wilson.
Oh, they ran the ball. I remember this.
Denver smacked them. Not just the L. They beat the hell out of them.
Yeah.
Like, they got their asses kicked up and down the field. So I hope the fact that happened less than a calendar year ago would remind these guys. And that's what drives me crazy about. Like, in college, I get it. You got other stuff to worry about. Players are getting paid now, but not compared to pro players. Like, there is no excuse to not take your job seriously enough to play your best.
But I
in the
would
NFL.
also add to this, as far as Dallas potentially overlooking Chicago, it's not been Dak winning all these games. Dak is just getting back. So Dak is still trying to reestablish himself and have a big performance, because we can all admit, even though they won, it wasn't a big-time performance. No. So Dak is still very much on alert. He's still trying to get into his rhythm. And they are going to be without Zeke. So they're already game planning at a higher level for Chicago because they're missing Ezekiel Elliott.
Here's my thing. Like, I don't even think the Cowboys would lose because they overlooked Chicago. And I'm going to put this out there, at least for y'all, if y'all won't hear it.
Help me understand
this. I think the Cowboys will lose for this reason. Dave, what's the one thing the Cowboys do bad defensively, or what do they do worse defensively?
They don't stop the run.
They don't stop the run. Okay. The Chicago Bears have the 5th highest rushing yards per game over the last 40 years. I will say this again. The Chicago Bears have the 5th highest rushing yards per game over the last 40 years. So no team has run the ball statistically better than the Chicago Bears over the last 40 years, outside of 4 teams. And the one thing the Cowboys do bad is stop the run. Now let's reverse engineer this. Offensively, Cowboys scare you? Offensively.
No.
They scare you?
Don't scare me.
Offensively.
Not scary.
They're not scared. They scare you?
No, not scary.
So if I'm looking at the Cowboys offense and they don't scare you, and the Chicago Bears defense is 6th in the league, and I know the Chicago Bears rushing attack is to some degree lethal, I'm just wondering, y'all know, and Joy said this 3 days ago, defense, you got to pack your defense, you got to pack your rushing game on the road.
Right.
The game is on the road. What the Bears do best is run the ball and play defense. Where the Cowboys do worst is stop the run, and they're not offensively lethal. I'm just trying to tell y'all, the math is mathing in a way that the Cowboys could lose.
It's not. Yeah, of course the Cowboys could lose.
That's what I'm trying to say.
They're an NFL team playing another NFL team. This isn't Alabama versus Panera State. This is the Chicago Bears with NFL players. However bad they are, we know that an NFL. That's where the term "any given Sunday" comes from. Right. And they're coming off of a win. They feel good right now.
So then what are you saying? They can lose, but they won't lose.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Anybody can lose. The NFL.
Yeah, I'm picking Dallas because I think they're the better team with the better quarterback and the better defense right now. But if Chicago wins, we're not going to write history
Let me ask you
books
this.
about it.
Would you be surprised?
Yes. I would. I answer.
I would be
for her.
surprised.
I'm sorry. I would
yes,
be surprised.
everybody would. Yeah.
Well, that's because I'm curious of the question.
I think it would be no. I actually would not be surprised because you are going into a bye. You don't have Ezekiel Elliott. You're on the road.
Well, then, that to me is...
You could make arguments for Chicago. You were making compelling arguments. I'm still going to pick Dallas because I think they're the better team. But it's not going to be like... It would be a bad loss for Dallas, especially going into the bye. But it's not like we're not going to write songs about this.
So, but what I'm saying is, I guess the question is those semantics. But if you wouldn't be surprised...
I would be surprised.
You would be surprised?
If Dallas lose to the Bears at home against Justin Fields and the other guys on offense, I would be surprised. Yes. Yes.
Yes, I would be surprised. I'm not saying like,
come on.
But that's the thing though, is I've been around the NFL for a long time. Like, this isn't going to be like some just beginning to end blowout. That very rarely happens in the NFL.
But
yeah, my correction, Dallas is at home.
A 9-point spread very rarely happens too on a week-to-week basis.
Yeah, and the Cowboys could cover that spread without dominating this game. We saw them do it against Detroit last week.
Put 10 points up, 14 points. That should be enough to beat Justin Fields. I'm just saying.
Come on. They scored 33 last week. I feel I got to defend the Bears and the Cowboys in the same segment.
I'm just saying, when I watch the Bears play, I'm not impressed.
It would be a bad loss for Dallas, for sure. But there's definitely arguments you can make for Chicago.
You don't like the verbiage upset alert.
I don't like upset.
But you think the Cowboys
it would be an upset. They're favored by 9.5. That's a massive spread in the NFL. But I don't think that we are looking at Dallas as Dallas thinks they're rolling. I don't think the Cowboys feel like they're rolling. This is just Dak's second game back from injury. They're without Ezekiel Elliott. It's not like they're marching into Dallas on Sunday.
So are we kind of saying the same thing?
No.
I'm saying that I'm not going to be falling back in my chair if Dallas loses this game. Dallas gets blown out, sure, but I don't think they're going to get blown out.
That would be shocking.
This is a confidence game, though. Like,
I still am picking Dallas.
But even with that coming back, like she talked about, a game like this with the Bears, this gets your confidence. Let's beat up on these type of guys. Like in boxing, before it's a big fight, you have the tune-up fights. So the Bears like the tune-up.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.